Alec, good morning. Welcome
Good,
back.
good morning.
I'm,
Welcome to you, Willbert and the listeners.
I missed last week, but I did actually catch just a little bit of a highlight. I went to see just afterwards a little bit of your chat with Luco, and I loved it because it was so personal. And of course, Luco, on her own personal journey in terms of weight loss and exercise and getting healthy, and really relevant show last week. So well done with that.
Thank you.
All right,
Thanks.
talking about practical. I've got to tell you, I've found a better fit for me as well with the early mornings. I'm now training before the show starts, Alec,
Well
which
done.
which is sounds really radical, but it actually works just so much better. And it's amazing how I'm mentioning this because sometimes you just have to try something new until you get something that fits your daily rhythm and
Yeah, that's what we
yeah.
talk about, experimenting until you find something that works for you.
Yeah.
So, just tell us a little bit more about your early morning routine now, Wilbert.
Yeah, so absolutely. So for me, up to now, the challenge has always been I've obviously got some time in the afternoons, but because I'm up early, I'm just too tired, demotivated, especially for weight training. I can go for a run, it clears the head. But to go and pick up weights, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it's warm, you've been up since 5 this morning, it just never happened. So now I've just forced myself to wake up a little bit earlier. Just after 4, I'm up. The gym's a close drive where I get to train, so they're open from 4:30. I hit it at 4:30, quick half an hour, feel good, come to the show, feel better doing the show because I'm awake.
Yeah,
I don't just need coffee anymore, 2 cups of coffee to get me going. I'm already awake. So it works really, really well. And,
fantastic. Are
yeah,
you doing that every day?
every day at the moment. And
Fantastic. Well done.
don't want to brag too early, but so far, so good. We'll see. We'll see
So,
in the
how
long
long have
run.
you been able to consistently stick with that
Only
now?
about 2 weeks now, but it's
Fantastic.
yeah, feeling much better and just finding that rhythm. And it's not an option I would have considered before because I would have just said to myself, nobody can wake up that early in the morning. But since I'm up early anyway, it's not like I'm losing that much more sleep. In fact, I'm sleeping better at nights now, and if I have to, I can take a nice power nap during the day.
Awesome.
Yeah, Alec.
Well, you're fortunate to be able to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Training, how's it going for the
Yeah.
world champ
Yeah.
long distance athlete we've got in our midst?
Yeah. Well, at the moment, I haven't got any competitive plans, but I'm training as much as I can fit into my schedule, and I'm really enjoying that. So I go through a periodized cycle with my training, so it's sort of progressively load and then have a rest week. So last week was a less intense week. And hopefully we'll be able to pick that up again and get the hours back in again this week. So, but yeah, like I've said so many times, it's you mustn't try and copy and emulate
Yeah.
what others are doing. You need to find what works for you and what training you need to do to achieve your personal goals and objectives.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Alec. Our theme for today, we do have a theme. Take your
Yeah.
medicine. Tell us what do you mean with
Yeah,
take your medicine?
it's a little bit of a playful take on the theme, and what I'm so the topic today is take your medicine, and I just want to draw a couple of references there. But if you think about what we've all heard about drug resistance, or um, let me just, I'm getting a bit tongue tied there. Drug resistant tuberculosis. And that sort of results as from people not completing their course of medication.
Mm.
So as soon as they start feeling better, they back off on taking their prescribed medication, and that has a detrimental effect on their health, and the virus actually becomes stronger. And so today I want to just really focus a little bit more on treating the cause and not the symptom. And I think that is sort of lacking in a lot of our approaches. So I heard a really good analogy of in your garden, if your tree starts having brown leaves at the wrong time of the year, you don't go and spray paint them green. You actually fertilize and make sure that the tree gets the right nutrients to actually thrive. And that's what we should be doing in our lives instead of treating the symptoms.
And this idea of treating the symptoms is something that's true in all regards to humanity so often. It's something we do. And even within the, medicine field, it's something that even, when you go to visit to the doctor, sometimes this happens, that even doctors, even those that are experts, because we're so overloaded with time and we have to manage so many different things, we often just treat the symptom. We pop a pain pill, but we're not treating the actual root cause of what is causing the issue.
Yeah, we need to put more time and effort into identifying and treating the cause in order to not have the symptom. But when we're ill, we only go to the doctor when we're ill and when we've got a problem that needs to be fixed. So it's not their fault, and they try to treat the symptoms with prescription medication, but they're not necessarily improving the underlying root cause of the problem.
Yeah, some statistics show that in third place worldwide at the moment in terms of causes of death is prescription medication and overusage of prescription medication. Some studies link that to be. So there is this misuse. Now, coming back to our view, because the Christian view motivates what we're trying to say. It really does.
Yeah.
And the more we say, okay, well, let's get to the root. Well, as Christians, what we're trying to tell people is before you even treat it physically or emotionally, let's go spiritually, because that really is the foundation of all things, isn't it?
It is. And picked out a couple of verses that you can read for us to set the tone. But yes, your spiritual growth is a process that starts when you give your life to the Lord, and then it should continue on a daily basis until the day that you die. So, you need to have that vision. You need to have a task at hand, which then through faith and hope, you can actually see and envision a better future. And we've said that so many times, that Jesus came to give us a life, a full life, an abundant life. And if you're not experiencing that, it's not his fault. So we need to look inward, and we need to see what we can do to apply his word in our lives to make an improvement.
Yeah, Ephesians 3 verse 20 reminds us of this promise, this reason, what should be your motivation. Now to him who in consequence of, this is the Amplified Classic version, the action of his power that is at work within us. So if because of him, that he is able to carry out his purpose and do, I love this word in the Amplified, do super abundantly, far over and above all that we dare ask or think, infinitely beyond your highest prayers, desires, thoughts, hopes, or dreams. This is what is available to every Christian.
Absolutely.
We've mentioned this verse before, that he comes to give life and life in abundance. Not life, it is life in abundance. Life, yes, we have eternal life. Yes, we're saved. Yes, we're thankful for that. But he promises us so much more. He wants us to experience life in abundance, that God-like blessing that he wants us to walk in. To do that, though, if that's the purpose, we have to also do the work. And Paul reminds us, 1 Corinthians 9:27, but like a boxer, I buffet my body, I handle it roughly, discipline it by hardships, and I subdue it, for fear that after proclaiming to others the gospel and things pertaining to it. So yes, this is that life in abundance, the gospel and things pertaining to it. I myself should become unfit, not stand the test, be unapproved and rejected as a counterfeit. So Paul realizes that as much as he's aware of the promises of God that are so abundant, super abundantly as the Amplified Version says, there's a work to be done. There's commitment to be made on our side.
Yes, and we're very quick to run to the Lord for prayer to fix the symptom, the illness, the problem that we've created largely by not exercising and by not following a wise nutrition plan. So, got a drawing with a Venn diagram of 3 overlapping circles, and essentially it's really simple. You've got your spiritual growth in the one circle, you've got nutrition in the other, and you've got exercise in the third. And to prosper and lead an abundant life, that sweet spot is in the center. So they're all interlinked and interconnected. So don't try, or let me rather rephrase that positively, rather try to tackle all three areas simultaneously, because you're going to improve your odds of success.
Yeah.
And if you have a clear desire and purpose to glorify the Lord in all that you do, it helps you to stick with your nutrition plan. So last week I mentioned when I was talking to Luca about reading or hearing a talk about the definition of the word stupidity. And I'm just reminded that the second commandment that we're given is that we should love the Lord our God above all. Then we should love our neighbors as we love ourselves. So there we clearly commanded by the Lord to love ourselves so that we can be of love, we can love and serve others. And the definition of stupidity is doing something that is detrimental to you personally and detrimental to others simultaneously. So if you're doing something to harm yourself and you're doing something that harms others, then your actions and your behavior is, let's say, unwise rather than use the word stupid. But that's basically what it boils down to. So, we need to take, our health is a lagging measure of our habits. So if you've got a habit, for example, let's say smoking, then you know that it is harmful to yourself and it is harmful to others, and they're going to have to live with the consequences of your decisions when you start packing up and you get cancer and they have to pay to look after you, or etc. So, we need to stand up, own up, and man up, and then apply what the Bible is instructing us to do, and we will lead healthier lives.
Yeah, it's a reminder that Jesus has come to preach the message of the kingdom. He didn't come to preach the gospel of salvation, but the gospel of the kingdom. Salvation is the door to the kingdom. Jesus preaches himself as the door of salvation. He is the door that we walk through. But, the moment that a Christian then walks through the door of salvation, coming through to the kingdom through Christ, that's the only way. We understand that. But to realize that a door takes you into a room.
Yeah.
There's something in this room that a Christian should enjoy and participate in and be a part of. And, I'm thinking again of the words where Paul writes a letter and he says, it is my prayer that you would prosper as your soul might prosper, that in every way that you're prospering. And it's this reminder that in this room of salvation, this room that salvation has brought us to, there's more than the end destination that lots of people have rested in.
Yes.
And we have to take up that responsibility and that role.
Yes, and to that effect, there's organizations that are out there. The one is called, or refers to food as being medicine, and we need to view it as such. And the other one is exercise is medicine. So, on the exercise front, we know that there's a crucial biological link between your thoughts, your emotions, and movement, and that by exercising, you upregulate your emotions, and that has a positive effect on your thoughts. So your exercise will certainly improve your mental state. And you mentioned that you're training 5 times a week at least an hour early in the morning. So that's fantastic, because as long as you need to be doing 3 30-minute sessions a week of weightlifting and 3 30-minute sessions a week of cardio for it to have a positive benefit on your health as a minimum requirement. So well done. You're beyond the minimum requirement.
We're getting there. It's about loving yourself, this taking of the medicine. It's not about treating a symptom. This is, again, what's important, that the motivation would not just be, of course we can have goals. We want to lose weight, want to be a little bit healthier. But it's a deeper understanding of that. It's about understanding that you need to reach your untapped potential, that you can be all that you were created to be. And also knowing that if you're healthier, if you're feeling good, if you're making yourself available for God to use you better.
Correct.
because we're more available. It's like I mentioned, because I'm training in the morning, I know I'm doing better in this 3 hours that I'm talking to people about the gospel, on the morning show.
Yeah.
Because instead of being tired, instead of having to need medicine in the form of caffeine,
Yeah.
exercise, improving myself is enabling me
Yeah.
to be better used by God.
Absolutely. And you will see the benefit, and that where you'll also see the benefit now is that, it's highly unlikely that you are eating before you train. In other words, you're training in a fasted state, which is also very beneficial. So you will now see additional benefits coming through in your health, and you will get the multiplication effect of exercise on top of a good, solid nutritional diet. So on the diet side, on the nutrition side, we've said this before, but it's really not difficult. Quit drinking sugar, your sodas, your fruit juices. Eat real food. So you want to cut out the refined carbs and the vegetable oils and seed oils, and use as far as possible olive oil. And then they talk about a digital sunset, but also try and make sure that you have as much time between your supper and going to bed. So you need to eat earlier if possible, or even skip dinner is even better. And then it becomes so simple for you to actually get to what we've been saying about intermittent fasting, and having a 16-hour time block where you don't actually need to digest anything at all, and have all your meals condensed into an 8-hour window, which is very beneficial. So before we even talk about what you eat, and try and talk about portion sizes. So, everybody looks at counting calories, but all calories aren't created equal. So, 1,000 calories of white sugar and 1,000 calories of broccoli don't have the same nutritional value. So, we need to eat wholesome food.
I think one of the things that that's worth mentioning when we keep repeating things like intermittent fasting, Alec, is the adaptability of our bodies, and how God has made us way more adaptable than we might think. It's like for me now, the training, I never considered training at that time because I just didn't think it's possible. I'd be too tired. It's not going to work. I can't wake up that early. But trying it has shown me, oh no, actually my body adapts quite quickly. Within a week, I adapted to the early mornings. I'm feeling great when I wake up. In fact, I'm waking up before the alarm goes off.
Great.
So your body adapts. The 16-8 window to people that have never done that seems completely unreasonable. To their minds, it might sound like torture, and I guess the word fasting doesn't help, because it sounds like you're punishing yourself, but your body adapts. It becomes your normal.
Yeah, a different terminology is time-restricted feeding. And all that we're saying is that you're supposed to be getting 8 hours of sleep. So you've got to add on to that 8 hours on either end, or on one end, a time that you don't eat. So a lot of people push their breakfast out later. I personally prefer not to do that, so I do eat breakfast, but then I don't eat dinner. And it's worked tremendously for me. So I'm not very good at controlling my portion size. It's easier for me to control when I eat than how much I eat. So that works for me. And then we eat very nutritiously as a rule, as a whole. So that's 2 of the 3 levers that I'm controlling. And then I train twice a day as well. So that helps to set the basis for that getting into that sweet spot. And I just wanted to pick up on something there. Just like we've said that you need to progressively push your limits, whether that's now extending that fasting window, or whether that is your exercise, the weights, etc., or walking further, faster. The same goes for your spiritual growth. It's not an event that comes to a completion at salvation. That's where it starts. And we need to be pushing in and experimenting and applying the word in our lives to actually see that growth and that benefit come through on a daily basis. And, just like I started off by saying exercise is medicine, you need to take your medicine on a daily basis. And your nutrition and your exercise and your quiet time with the Lord are things that you need to do daily.
Of course.
And to actually get the compound benefit of that and to grow and progress. And so that's something that you need to do on a daily basis.
And it's something that it helps to build it into your day, So for me, for instance, I'm not trying to do this full 30 exercise in the morning alone. I've got a trainer. I've committed to that. It's a bit of an expense, but that keeps me accountable. I would have never woken up if I didn't know there's somebody waiting for me at the gym. So that helps. It's the same with our spiritual walk with God. Build it into your day. I'm always excited when we do, on Fridays, we do a part where the kids send in all of their song requests, and you just come to the realization how many kids are starting their day listening to Impact Radio, worshiping, praising in the cars with mom or with dad, dropping them off at school. That becomes a part of people's daily routine, but that's a very strong part. It's like, knowing that every morning I'm taking my medicine, every morning I'm spending half an hour in devotion, or every morning I'm listening to Impact Derek Prince, where he's teaching on something specific, or I'm saying to myself, for this half an hour drive to work, I could, put a podcast on, I could listen to a nice book, but I'm going to worship. I'm going to spend some time in worship. So a practical way of doing this is to ensure that you are building these things into a schedule every day.
Yeah, and then I'm just acutely reminded I've got a 13-month-old granddaughter who's learning and improving her walking skills. And everything is a challenge, climbing stairs, getting up, sitting down, falling over. And how many times does she have to go and do it over and over and over again? And she doesn't get upset and put off by the fact that she fell over. She just gets up again and tries again. And we should be like that in whether it's nutrition, whether that's exercise, or even in your spiritual walk. You don't quit because you stuff up. You have to start again and just get back on and get back into the motions immediately, as soon as possible, and just start again. And you will make progress and you will become more proficient over time.
Absolutely. Just talking again on the practical of exercise, you've mentioned the 330 minutes of cardio, 330 minutes of weight training. But in terms of medicine, again, something that I think there's lots of misunderstanding out there about is that weight training and the importance of it, again, even for the ladies out there, and the way that actually culminates into the goal that a lot of women do have, which is weight loss ultimately. And weight training doesn't necessarily do the opposite as we might think or feel.
Yeah, well, what we've said many times is that your weight lifting is there to change your body composition. So it increases your muscle mass, and your nutrition will sort out your weight loss. So you're wanting to increase your muscle mass and decrease your fat. And the only way to increase your muscle mass is through resistance training. We've also covered it prior that after 35, 40, you start losing about 1% of muscle mass a year. And once you've lost more than 10%, it starts compromising your immune system. So the link between your muscle mass and your immune system is clear. And you need to do something about that proactively. So you need to eat enough protein to have the right building blocks, and you need to train with weights, resistance training. And you can do resistance training without weights. So, for example, a push-up is resistance training. Your body is the resistance. But how many people actually take the effort to do, that on a daily basis. And you don't need to find an hour to go and train. You can do 5 minutes at a time, multiple times a day. You just need to build it in so that you are going to get that cumulative benefit.
Yeah, the message is quite simple this morning. Take your medicine, be all that you can be. Replace medicine in terms of exercise and spiritual exercise and good nutrition, because that will ultimately most probably replace other medicines that you would have to take.
Yeah, so if you exercise right and if you eat right, the chances are that you're going to be dependent on pharmaceuticals to actually improve and maintain your health will reduce tremendously.
Yeah, absolutely. Alec, I know the show notes are available. Just point the people in the right direction if they want to connect with you, the Almighty Warrior brand, and also the show notes.
Yeah, almightywarrior.me. So it's singular, almightywarrior.me is our website, and they'll be able to find everything there. We've got a ton of free content. We've got a YouTube channel full of interesting and educational content from many experts across the world. And yeah, we've got some courses and some a 10-day challenge that can help people just to actually prove to themselves that they can make a difference. And ultimately, we would love to see everybody healthier.
Absolutely. All right. So almightywarrior.me. Alec, thanks so much for joining us again on
Pleasure.
this Tuesday. He'll be back, of course, next week. It's time for your news headlines right after this.
TBN Africa brings you uplifting Christian programming and entertainment from across the world.
This is a done deal.
And right here in